Okay, here's a short little video of a car that I have owned for about 11 years now. It is a 1970 Camaro. It is just a standard Camaro, no special features. It is not an SS, not a Z28, nothing like that. What it is it is a project that I started on, roughly 9 years ago, trying to do a paint job and body work to it, and life got in the way. So I bolted the car back together and was driving it, and actually took it drag racing a couple times and just plain took it out, had fun. It is a very nice driver. However, it does run pretty good at the drag strip. It has a 1969 date coded 396 in it with the matching heads for that motor. The heads have been ported and polished and have bigger valves in them. The engine is original internal components, more or less. It is a stock steel crank for 396, stock rods that have been resized, everything ARP bolts inside. It is 30 over with forged pistons. When I originally bought the car, the engine, transmission, and rear end had about 100 miles on them. I bought it off of a lady actually from an auto broker out in Colorado, who got it from a lady that traded it in because she put it together, and the story is it was too much motor for what she wanted to do with it. I bought it, drove it a couple years, and like most guys, can't leave anything alone. So I started trying to make it nicer. It was all a dark blue, had actually a really nice paint job on it. It just had a couple rust bubbles in the right quarter panel that I didn't like. I ground into it and found that somebody had put probably roughly 1.5 inches worth of filler right down behind the door here. So I put new quarter panel skins on it about 8 years ago. No, I have not finished the welds. I have not done anything with that. And like I said, life got in the way, so I started driving the car in 3 different colors. Last year, I took the original left fender and left door and stripped them down to bare metal. Fixed majority of the dings and stuff in them as far as metalwork wise, and put them into an epoxy primer. Had the jam sandblasted, all that stuff. The right fender is an aftermarket one from Keystone. I believe it's probably a Goodmark part. I don't remember. It's been 4 or 5 years ago since I bought that. The upper header is a Goodmark piece. The lower valance is original GM. This car had been sideswiped down the right side. When I got into it, I could tell this door is not off of a 70. I believe it's off of like a 74 or 5. But for everything I'm gonna do with it, that door is solid, relatively straight, and I'm gonna make it work. So I have stripped both doors and had the insides blasted. Then I put the car back together so I could drive it for the rest of the summer. And well, with the engine that's in it, it now needs another set of drag radials for the back, because I roughly get about 1,000 to 1,500 miles out of them, because, well, let's face it, big block, it's fun to do burnouts. So the plans are, I plan on stripping the quarter panels. I don't like the EDP coating. I don't trust it. It's personal preference, but I've had some issues with it on prior cars. So I'm gonna strip that off. I'm going to completely tear the interior out, pull subframe, engine, everything out of it, and gonna do a mini tub kit. I'm gonna do Detroit Speed's wheel tubs. I'm not real sure who I'm gonna go with for rear 4-link setup, but it is probably going to be either Detroit Speed or Competition Engineering or something along them lines. The car, rust-wise, as you can see, is a beautiful car. The floor pans have 0 rust in them. The quarters, like I said, just had a little bit, but I put skins on it just because I want peace of mind down the road. I don't plan on ever getting rid of the car. Down in here you can see the floors. I mean, they're dirty, but I don't know if you'll ever find another set more solid than this on a car that has been driven majority of its life. As you can tell, it was kind of set up for drag racing. I'm not gonna say it's a super fast car, but with just a 2500 stall, foot braking it, with a turbo 350 transmission, it did run a 1245 at 111 in the quarter. Like I said, I could only leave at about 1900 because it was pushing the front tires, but I thought that was pretty respectable for all motor. I do have a 750 Mighty Demon carb on it. It is running MSD ignition with the 6AL box. It's a lot of fun to drive. It's got a pretty healthy cam in it. The plan is this engine will go back in the car, mostly because I don't have money to build a new $12,000 engine. So this engine's plenty healthy. It don't even have 5,000 miles on it. It's gonna get cleaned up. I'll blast the intake, paint the engine up good, and it'll go back in probably with some different trim. I'm not really into these valve covers. I kind of like the sheet metal fabricated valve covers instead. But the plan is today, it is -2 where I live right now. So we're out in the heated garage and I'm gonna start blowing the car apart. I have some photos of what the car was before I started, and I will share those with people actually as soon as I learn a little bit more about videoing and stuff like that, to where I can do a video with photos in it. Like I said, the plan is more street strip. I'm not really into the whole pro touring vibe on this particular car. I have other cars that in the future I plan on building that way, but this car is not one of them. I will be putting a roll cage in this car. It will have racing seats up front. I am gonna keep the back seat, so it's not gonna get a crazy mini tub. Like I said, it's just the Detroit Speed 3-inch wheel tubs, but I should be able to run a nice size tire under it at that point. I have a Fab 9 9-inch for it, so.